Coming up on Smart Tech today, Matthew Cassinelli and I are back in the saddle, and it's time to talk about, well, Google's big developer conference getting fully canceled. They're going to do blog posts instead of any sort of live stream or anything like that. We also talk about the smart assistants and the CDC itself creating these checkers for coronavirus. It's a self-checking system to determine how you should get tested, if you should get tested, that kind of thing. Plus, apparently, people are spending more money on apps than they ever have before. The robots are getting tie-ins with Siri and other platforms, plus video chatting in the time of social distancing. All that and so much more coming up on Smart Tech today. So tap that subscribe button if you haven't yet. twit.tv/STT. Stay tuned. Smart Tech Today is brought to you from Twit's LastPass Studios. You're focused on security, but are your employees? Well, LastPass can ensure that they are by making access and authentication seamless. Visit lastpass.com/twit to learn more.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This episode of Smart Tech Today is brought to you by Mint Mobile. They provide the same premium network coverage you're used to, but at a fraction of the cost because everything is online. Mint Mobile makes it easy to cut your wireless bill down to just $15 a month with their 3-month introductory plan, and get the plan shipped to your door for free at mintmobile.com/STT. Welcome back to Smart Tech Today, where we explain the exciting, the dynamic, and, well, the sometimes confusing, confounding, and conflubbering subject that is the Internet of Things. I am Mikah Sargent.
And I'm Matthew Cassinelli.
And we are ready to roll, folks. We are back in our respective locales. We have sheltered in place. We have social distance. We have distanced. We have hashtag attempted to stop the curve. Is that how it goes? I don't remember.
Flatten the curve.
Yeah, flatten the curve. We're doing it all. We are pancaking that curve. And today, it's time to talk about, well, Google I/O. It is 1,000% officially kaput for now. Yeah?
Yes. They were originally pulled back from the live event in person, obviously because of the current health crisis, but they also basically canceled the entire live stream situation, and they're just going to announce things via blog posts. Probably makes sense. Maybe even just like putting together the live event could just expose more of their employees to the virus and things like that, potentially, or something like that. But and also just hosting what can somewhat be a vanity event in the middle of a pandemic maybe isn't the best look. So they are now canceling it entirely.
Yeah, this is kind of wild to me, I have to say.
Yeah.
You know, Apple announced that they were going to be holding a virtual version of the Worldwide Developers Conference, and that on its own, you know, makes sense. But I don't know. Does this mean that Apple too could maybe decide to just host some, or not host, but post some blog posts? I suppose it's far enough out into the future that maybe we're okay, hopefully, as far as that goes. Or I don't know. Do you think, I guess my bigger question is, do you think that there is a potential that Apple could end up doing that?
Well, they haven't specified a date for Apple's developer conference. They just said June. And so, I mean, I feel like just the timing alone, like Google's thing is likely going to be right in the middle of when things are getting worse. And maybe optimistically, Apple is hoping that it abates by June or like the end of June or something like that. When they just announced a new iPad Pro last week, they did like give just a produced art video to the press, and they put that out. So maybe they will do something more like that and less like a live event. It's always hard to tell. Like, just in general, keeping up with the normal stuff right now does feel weird, and it can be uncomfortable. So it's hard to tell what's going to happen, especially as situations progress and stuff like that. But at least for now, we have like the digital access to things, and maybe Google. I mean, I assume like production and stuff like that is being affected, so it's smarter to just like not do anything at all right now.
Yeah. I think that's your best bet. Like you said, because there's going to have to be some in-person stuff. So there to sort of limit that. And also, I think people are trying to, at the very least, be aware of the fact that, there's a certain level of, does this feel gross doing X, Y, or Z when this stuff is going on? At least that's something that I know I would be sort of very aware of. Is it the right move morally for me to do X, Y, or Z? And honestly, I felt a little weird. Ultimately, again, this is the capitalist society, and consumerism is still rampant, and it is what keeps sort of the stuff chugging and plugging along. But there was a part of me that felt odd about Apple's products that they announced, the new iPads and the new MacBook Airs and stuff like that. And ultimately, there are people behind that company that have worked on these products and who are employed by Apple and continue to achieve and have jobs and things like that. So in that sense, I'm happy that they're there and that people who are able can purchase them. But yeah, there is also a part of me that's like, I don't know how to feel about all this. This is very weird. So I think it's a good move.
I mean, I like know that when I've tweeted things that are just about like the iPad in the last week, I've just lost followers because people are like, what the hell are you doing? So that's not great. And I feel self-conscious because I do care about the situation, but I do want to also provide just like entertainment or distraction if we can.
Yes.
I feel like at least right now, like I ordered the iPad only with the intent of reviewing it and like most likely returning it after 2 weeks because I don't actually probably need one. And it is like not a smart purchase necessarily in the short term. So
right.
We'll see there, but.
Huh. Yeah. I mean, this is all very. So yeah, Google's canceled the whole thing. It'll be fun, I guess, to see the blog posts that are coming out. See if that's going to affect my Pixel that I have. That's the last gen model, currently the last gen model. And what new software will come there. So this could be a template for other companies going forward, which will be fascinating to watch. Yeah. The CDC has a coronavirus self-checker bot. They have given it a name, Clara, depending on how you pronounce that. I think this is wonderful. This is a way to sort of determine the state of how you're feeling and whether you should go out and seek medical care. So you can head to the CDC website and then at the top, so it's under the symptom testing or the page testing for COVID-19. There's a link that says coronavirus self-checker. From there, it pops up it looks like one of those chat rooms, those really annoying chat rooms that you get on different websites that it's like, oh, hey, while you're shopping for this product, would you like to talk with us? And how can we help? And it says the project was made possible through a partnership with the CDC Foundation and is enabled by Microsoft's Azure platform. CDC's collaboration with a non-federal organization does not imply an endorsement of any one particular service, product, or enterprise. So they want to make that very clear because Amazon and Microsoft have been in a battle in the past for government contracts. So they have to be very clear here that, yes, we're working with Microsoft's Azure platform. That does not mean that we're in love with Microsoft or anything like that. But yeah, once you say, okay, yeah, I'm good with that, then Clara starts to ask you some questions. You can refresh the page if you want to start again, but it starts out by saying, hey, are you ill? Are you caring for someone who is ill? Yes, no. And it goes through a sort of triage to help you self-check before you go on to get tested. So this is fantastic. And this is a page that I could point people to who are concerned and are wondering the current state of things and should I get tested? Do I feel fine? And go from there. So this is good. I'm happy this is out there.
Yeah, exactly. It's especially they were just saying it can reduce the load on doctors by just checking for at least the base level of symptoms and going through the process there without calling in and maybe blocking the line for somebody else. But yeah, like a bunch of companies are also building on top of this. So like Apple has the whole update to Siri, and also, Google built the entire website as stated by the president. But I was also asking my Amazon Echo earlier, just like for information. But I'm pretty sure the Siri integration, when I went through it, it looks like a shortcut, which is very interesting just to me as a Siri shortcuts type person, because it definitely like asks you questions and it's like answer yes or no. And like I could pretty much recreate that in shortcuts using a bunch of if statements and like dictate text. So I am fascinated if they actually like built a shortcut and then made that part of Siri like in a literal way, I guess, just technically, and how it's built. So it's kind of a fascinating situation, but you can like go through and it's like it asks you if you have a cough and then like is it super serious and things like that. So you can kind of determine whether you should get treatment right away or maybe you are okay to just quarantine or something. But I think in general it is like these are good awareness tools and maybe a good first line, but in no way is it like, no, you're fine, you don't have it, go outside or something. Like you should still be overly cautious in this situation.
Absolutely. Choose caution over anything else. But I do think that this is helpful because I think that anywhere you can do this is good. Anywhere that you can sort of be aware of it and do what's and be, what am I trying to say? Not only be aware, but take action in whatever way possible, even if it's not something that you're doing for yourself. And to bring this to people, I think is what makes it really cool. That it's not something that, you're having to really reach out and go to. That's supposed to be the benefit of these services, these voice first services. So they're really sort of putting their money where their mouth is, so to speak, on it. Mm-hmm. Now, we talked before, maybe on this show, it may have been on other shows, on iOS Today. Leo and I both talked about the Wall Street Journal report from Joanna Stern. It was a video where she was checking. This was before Apple released information saying, yes, it's okay to use a cleaning product on the surface of your phone, on your display. But she put, a piece of tape or covered part of her display, and then with the other part of her display, wiped down over and over again with cleaning supply. And despite that, the oleophobic coating was not harmed after, do you know the number? It was many wipes.
She did it at least 365 times with one type, and then like 200 times with another. She took like a hand scrubber like machine and then wore it down and used like a toilet bowl cleaner and soaked the phone in that. And then like after doing all of that, it slowly started to work. So, I mean, I think she was saying at the time, like Apple, in between when she wrote the original article and was like basically trying to get this video finished, Apple was like, you're allowed to clean down your phone. But basically, this is also a really good demo that it's most likely, almost definitely not going to damage it either, which is nice to know. And I think at the time, too, Samsung was saying that you could only get your phones cleaned in store. And I think even then we were joking, like, don't go to their stores right now.
Yeah, but, come on.
But you have they also mentioned phone soap, which is a product that you've tried that like puts your phone into this whole case cleaner and completely disinfects it, which is probably one of those things. I mean, a thread that we've had on this show is that sometimes products at first might seem slightly silly or something like that. And then later you're like, oh, okay, I definitely see the value. And this is one of those. It's like most people, I mean, in general, there's been stuff of like your phones are dirty, you need to keep them clean. But the phone soap thing is like, yes, there's a very, very, very good reason now to keep it absolutely clean.
Yeah, absolutely. I have phone soap. It's UV light bulb on the top, UV light bulb on the bottom. You put your phone inside, you slap down the box, and then it runs a UV cycle for I can't remember how long. It's not very long at all, like 30 seconds or something like that. And then the light will turn off. There's an indicator light on the outside, and then it's ready. Essentially, it disrupts the RNA, if I remember correctly, of the organisms on the device, thereby effectively rendering them dead and unable to sort of reproduce, recreate themselves. And then by doing so, it cleans your device. So I've used it on my phone. I've put my cards in there. Your debit card may be something, if you're not doing tap to pay, that is something that you would be getting a little dirty. And so running this UV light on it can help with that. And then you pointed out that your Apple Watch is something worth cleaning for sure.
Yes.
So sticking that in there might be good.
I was seeing all those videos of just like people doing, I think one especially was like Gordon Ramsay, even because he does it normally for cooking, which makes sense, but like rinsing all the way up to his wrists and like very full. And when I was doing that, I keep getting my Apple Watch in the way. And then I basically looked online, and there's a USA Today article about how the virus could survive on your Apple Watch or Fitbit. So you should be keeping those extra clean as well. Like there's a lot of stuff that you could just absently-mindedly touch your watch while you're out or something like that, and then got to make sure you clean it off when you get home too.
Yep. I know that I have used my Apple Watch at the store most of the time, and there are times, especially when I touch my side button. Trying to show it on the screen, my side button with my finger, to activate the Apple Watch. I kind of wish that there was just if I get close enough, then it activates automatically. I understand the need to sort of activate it, but having to press that button does make me go, and not want to focus on it or whatever, or not want to, cause the contamination. But yeah, that's there for sure. So yeah, that's kind of the state of things right now, that there are products out there. I know that it can be kind of hard to get a phone soap right now. Lots of people are really into them. But yeah, you can use normal cleaners on your phones, on your devices, and keep them clean that way for sure. If you don't have a UV light to disrupt the process of your device, there are other ways to do that. I don't know, maybe put it out in the sunlight for a while. No, don't do that. You should use a cleaner if you don't. So that's going to cover that, I think, for now. The one thing that I did want to touch on, which is something that Matthew, you had brought up, and something that we had talked about again on iOS Today. So I heard about this a little bit early on, is that it started in the European Union. The European Union said, look, folks are at home more than they ever have been, and they're streaming video for Netflix and Hulu and Prime Video and all these different services. And most of the time, they're streaming these shows in 4K. And so one smart television, streaming from one smart television, can, in a few hours a day, can be as much bandwidth use as an entire household on other devices. So that's a lot. And when you have more people doing that, it's causing a choke point in the infrastructure. And so the UN said, hey, look, the UN, my God, the EU said, look, we really would like it if you could reduce the bit rate of these videos so that we are not completely choking the infrastructure when we have kids who need to be learning from home and folks who need to be in touch with others from home. So That's something that that they're definitely doing. Netflix said yes. Apple is doing it for Apple TV Plus. Disney Plus too. Disney Plus is as well. But yeah, Netflix I think was the first one to say, okay, we're complying with that. And just the other day, Netflix's CEO and AT&T's CEO were on. It was called the show's Reliable Sources, and they hinted. Netflix hinted that, hey, if the U.S. says, please reduce the bit rate in the United States, we'll do that there too. He said you won't really notice a drop in you won't notice too much of a drop in quality. Netflix has fantastic algorithms. It makes me think of what's that show, Matthew, that the Pied Piper and
Silicon Valley.
Yeah, Silicon Valley. It makes me think of Silicon Valley with their bit rate
encoding. Yeah, I mean Netflix does a whole fancy thing where they like chop up like every second or something like that, and then re-encode it back together based off of what's best for what's currently on the screen.
Oh,
so
wow!
They're definitely dropping it back. Yeah, they have a whole. Their engineering blog has some fascinating stuff about how they like choose the thumbnails and auto-generate those based off of like tons of tagging type stuff. That's actually like where I get all my inspiration for my little fancy Airtable thing is like tag the heck out of something and then you can find interesting correlations there. But yeah, it's like Apple TV Plus normally has very crazy high like HDR super quality stuff. So it's definitely a little bit more pixelated now. But I mean, I've seen that. I was tweeting, I think like one of the first days of quarantine that I was I don't want to say concerned because this isn't a real problem really, but like I was like Twitch and Xbox Live and gaming services are going to go down, and I've seen them like three separate times. Like Friday at 4 p.m. Xbox is down, and you're like not able to start streaming and stuff. So there is a lot of everybody's using the same things at the same time, way more than normal. So it makes sense.
Yeah. I'm glad that they are doing that, honestly. One other thing, and this is interesting. I've seen a couple days delay. I'm happy to say, feel blessed to say, I guess. So I haven't seen too much of an issue here, but I'm curious if you had. Fast Company put out a report due to COVID-19, coronavirus disease 2019. Many Amazon orders won't be delivered for a month. Some Prime deliveries are up to a month. Someone had tweeted about a book that they wouldn't be getting for an entire month. It used to be 2 or 3 days, and we were very happy with that. Amazon spent a lot of money on their delivery infrastructure to decrease shipping times to, in many cases, and certainly for me, in most cases, 1 day shipping. And so people are, once it's, absence makes the heart grow fonder. And so in the absence of 1 day delivery times, we are feeling a little, you don't know what you got till it's gone is what I was trying to go for. Yeah. We are feeling a little bit not happy about this. These are not incorrect shipping estimates. They are the new normal for many products on Amazon. I'm quoting from the Fast Company article, and this is what the spokesperson said. Yeah. To serve our customers in need while also helping to ensure the safety of our associates, we've changed our logistics, transportation, supply chain, purchasing, and third-party seller processes to prioritize stocking and delivering items that are a higher priority for our customers. This has resulted in some of our delivery promises being longer than usual. So food and medical supplies that you order from Amazon will likely still ship on time, but it could be that clothes and stuff like that may take longer, particularly if you live in a place that hasn't had the updated infrastructure for the 1 day shipping.
Yeah, that makes sense. I saw this on a couple of days before this on the manufacturing side, basically, where just companies I think certain warehouses were not taking any more shipments. And so as they run out of stock, maybe we'll be seeing that more. I am just curious, especially if the situation continues longer term, it could be that things like that, smart home products that we are talking about on the show aren't actually shipping anymore or something like that. I'm not totally sure. I don't think it's going to be like a complete collapse. And I was thinking also, maybe that's why sometimes it's not good to have one company running a lot of the logistics and stuff like that. But I mean, of course, that's also why they can then reprioritize and help people out. So I guess I just talked myself out of my own point.
Sometimes that happens, that means you're open-minded.
I mean, there's both sides to everything. And it is like, as long as you can still get the essentials, that's what really matters. Maybe you could wait a little bit on a new smart light bulb.
Yeah, I can wait on some new headphones or something. It's not something that's necessary right now. And honestly, it may be something that, not a great purchase to be making right now in the times of this recession-esque. Recession-esque. That's, yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a break. Sure. After we come back from the break, we're going to hop away from the COVID stuff and talk about other stuff that, is fun and exciting as well. But first, I do want to tell you folks about our pals over at Mint Mobile, who are bringing you this episode of Smart Tech Today. If you're still using one of those big wireless providers this year, have you asked yourself what you're paying for? Because between expensive retail stores, inflated prices, and yes, hidden fees, I'm searching them out. Where are they? They're there, and there, and there, and there. Oh, it gets long. You are being taken advantage of because they know you'll pay. Well, that's where Mint Mobile comes in. Mint Mobile provides the same premium network coverage you're used to, but they give it to you at a fraction of the cost because everything is online. Mint Mobile saves on retail locations and overhead, then passes those savings directly to you. They are a mobile virtual network operator, MVNO, and they are on the T-Mobile network. So if you've used the T-Mobile network, then you know about the services that they provide, the coverage that they provide. I am very happy with Mint Mobile. I've got it on my Pixel 3 XL device because I want to have that, that Android experience as well. And honestly, slipping in that Mint Mobile SIM and having the service there has been so simple and providing for coverage sometimes when my big carrier on my main phone is not giving me the service that I want. It is fantastic to have that. And yeah, Mint Mobile's always there for me. Plus, they make it so easy. It's all about the data. You get a package of data, you use what you need, and you don't have to pay all these overages and things like that. See, Mint Mobile makes it easy to cut your wireless bill down to just $15 a month with their 3-month introductory plan. Every plan comes with unlimited nationwide talk and text. With Mint Mobile, you stop paying for unlimited data you're not ever going to use, and in many cases isn't actually unlimited. And you get to choose between plans with 3, 8, or 12 gigabytes of 4G LTE data. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all your existing contacts. Go ahead and ditch your old wireless bill and start saving with Mint Mobile. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month with their 3-month introductory plan and get the plan shipped to your door for free, you go to mintmobile.com/STT. I do want to mention, this is pretty great. It started on March 15th and goes through April 14th. Mint Mobile is providing current and new customers free unlimited high-speed data add-ons. So if you head to mintmobile.com/unlimited, check that out because you can get free unlimited high-speed data add-ons March 15th through April 14th. And that's both current and new customers. So check out that special deal that's going on right now, mintmobile.com/unlimited. As for this deal, mintmobile.com/STT. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month with their 3-month introductory plan at mintmobile.com/STT. Thank you so much to Mint Mobile for sponsoring this week's episode of Smart Tech Today and for that unlimited data bucket that's available right now. Take advantage of that, Mint Mobile subscribers, whether you are joining for the first time or you are an existing customer. Free unlimited data right now. Don't sleep on that. mintmobile.com/STT. All righty. This has me excited or rather, it would have me excited if it impacted the folks that I care about the most. But in general, I find it an exciting concept because I have, for the longest time, as a person who loves apps, who loves iOS, who has, dug deep into smartphones and enjoys the user experience that's provided there, I've always been an app purchaser. And with that comes the struggle when you are telling your friends, your family, whomever, about new apps and services that they should check out. And then you send them the link to the app, and they open the App Store, and then it says $1.99, and they go, oh, it costs? You have to pay for it? And then I always whip out this story. I don't know why. I don't know why I've decided, but in my mind, the hypothetical app developer that I bring to their attention owns chickens, and they have these free-range chickens that need to eat just as much as the next person. And how can a developer feed its free-range chickens? By you buying its app for $1.99, which is nothing in comparison to some of the things that we spend money on. So it's just a feed the chickens call that I beg, to not have that reaction of 99 cents, $1.99, $2.99. Heck, $8 is not that much in the long run when it comes to supporting these developers who put so much work into these apps. So much work into these apps. So what's all this about? Well, Sensor Tower. Actually, Matthew, you tell us a little bit about this Sensor Tower piece.
Yes. Basically, the story is that from 2018 to 2019, people spending money on in-app purchases and premium apps averaged about $100, which was $21 more than the year before. So basically, people are slowly getting more and more willing, or maybe not necessarily willing, to spend more per app, but spend more overall on apps to round out their smartphone experience, basically. Because that is one thing that I always personally find interesting, is like when you spend so much on the phone, but the apps are what make a lot of the experience, and you got to pay for it to get good quality apps a lot of times. That's not always necessarily true, but there's a lot of situations where it is. Also, I did just add in another link into our show doc of even more recently, since everybody's been staying at home, basically most app charts are like shooting up because people are at home spending more. I mean, a lot of it, I'm sure, is from services like Zoom and things like that everybody seems to be downloading right now, but it is like almost every category except for shopping and travel has gone up because people are just like at home downloading those apps. I guess that's not necessarily spending money on them, but it is like a period where people are spending a little bit more. I have also seen from some other indie developers saying that their in-app purchases have dropped, which is not fantastic. So maybe this could just be like the large companies gaining a lot of users, but individuals that are like maybe more niche apps maybe aren't getting bought as much. So if you do have the funds to support indie development right now, I do recommend purchasing apps as well, or doing tip jar type things if they have them.
There you go.
But
yeah. Then let's see here. So this is exciting for you, but also for me, because I think anytime we can make our robotic vacuums more powerful or more self-sufficient. What am I looking for? Efficient on their own is fun.
Yeah. Self-sufficient.
And yeah, thank you. For some reason that sounded weird. Yeah. So Nido, which is a robot vacuum cleaner maker. They make one that isn't circular. It sort of looks like the letter D turned on its head, and they are adding series shortcut support to the Nido vacuum line. Now, of course, it also does support the Google Assistant and Amazon's Smart Assistant as well. But I think that this is exciting. Like I said, anytime you can make it more self-sufficient is great.
Yeah, it's $2.99 on Amazon if you are. It does seem like it's actually shipping, which is good. But it's another one of those companies that's kind of taking the route slightly around HomeKit while they can and just adding shortcut support to their app. I did originally think you were just going to say that you were excited because they're called Neato. Neato.
It is Neato. It is Neato. But no, like that's
clever name.
It's cute. It's cute. That's Neato. Now let's talk about the elephant in the car. I find this interesting. There's a study out that says, look, Android Auto is actually more of a distraction than if you would, just text and drive and do those things. That Android Auto and CarPlay and all of these systems, basically in-car systems, are more distracting than they are less distracting. I find this interesting.
Yeah. The author of the article even is like, I don't agree, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. If you're down there touching the thing, yes, you should not. You're going to be distracted. That's the whole point, is not to touch. You want to do hands-free. But I just don't agree with this. I have used CarPlay systems before, and I find them incredibly I feel more comfortable with it running and having that system there telling me, what directions to take. But again, I don't touch and tap and type and stuff. I use it completely hands-free as it's meant to be. And in that sense, I think it works well.
Yeah. I mean, it is interesting. Like, I've had a couple of times where just like if you are poking around through those screens, especially compared to like a physical dial, you are just kind of like abstracting what's going on that screen. And I mean, one thing about this article that I just now noticed is that this chart is not like a good visualization, because the totals go from 12% to 57%. So they should all be squished together and a lot smaller. And it's saying that it's an increase in percentage from the response time of 1 second. So it's more like 1.5 seconds, not like suddenly you're spending like 3 whole seconds or something like that. But I think it's basically making the argument that just like you should use voice when you can, because it's less distracting, and also just in general not using texting. I did think it's funny that it says using cannabis is 21% and then Android Auto is 30%, which I just find like maybe this study does need to be done again, and maybe we can follow up or something like that. But it's basically saying that drugs are less bad than using a smart home screen. So I don't necessarily think that's true.
That part I have some quibbles with as well.
Just like you're doing something else entirely versus just being intoxicated. I don't know. That's terrible. But
how about we just don't have humans drive at all? That's what I want.
Don't,
but,
it is. I always feel like maybe, I'm not sure, but like I always felt like my generation doesn't ever do that, and I always see like a lot of older people using their phones, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, we all know we got it in our heads that you should never do that, and
1,000%, Matthew.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with you. So I will say, an ex of mine, we're good friends, so I'm not throwing him under the bus or anything like that. Well, I am throwing him under the bus, but not because we have bad blood or anything. He was an exception to that millennials are not texting and driving rule. He was that. But yes, 1,000%. It is not. I have seen millennials be incredibly smart about, at least young millennials be incredibly smart about not texting and driving, and more older millennials and Gen X who do the testing and driving like mad, who make me uncomfortable to ride in the car with. I will not call out a certain family member of mine who, when I ride with that family member, I am constantly going like, as they are beep, 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 beep. And so I maybe set up do not disturb while driving on their phone, and at the time, and then have since received complaints from that person about, oh man, I can't figure out how to work this do not disturb while driving thing.
You're like, oh well.
Oh, yes, I'm really sorry, but I don't quite remember how to turn that off.
Mikah, the technology expert.
Yeah, exactly. I have not learned that one yet, dear friend. So
That's awesome.
I agree with you. But anyway, going back to that, don't drink and drive, don't text and drive, don't play a trumpet and drive, don't eat a full turkey dinner and drive, don't do your makeup and drive, just drive until we get to a place.
And also,
where none of us have to
at least
drive.
right now, don't drive at all. And
yeah, unless you have to go out to get groceries and things like that.
Fair.
There are reasons, but be smart, be safe, keep your hands washed. All right. Let's talk about the next thing. This is something that I bet many people are trying to figure out and consider, and that is video conferencing, video chat, video conversations. I know that I have been thinking about good ways to go about doing that with family in particular, friends as well. And some of us, are using apps and things like that. But you are in the process of experimenting with some different things. So tell us about your project, Matthew.
Mm-hmm. Sure. I was experimenting with trying to set up like the webcam on the TV experience so you can sit in your living room and talk to someone and have them be on the screen without like holding your phone up the entire time or something like that. And I will give credit to Matt Galligan on Twitter because he was originally basically poking around and figured out that if you're using something like an Xbox, which has an in-app browser, you can basically receive a Zoom call link and open it within the browser without having any sort of installed app, and then like transmit the video and stuff. He has a Connect. So if you do have that, which honestly was not very popular, like I played Xbox all the time and never ended up buying a Connect. That does have video on it naturally, which is cool to be able to do that. And like Skype also works, but at least right now Zoom seems to be the major popular one. But I basically figured out that if you just plug in a webcam that has like a USB cord, like the one that I'm using now, the Logitech Brio, and probably even yours, Mikah, I don't remember. What is it again?
The Logitech C920.
Yeah, and that's like the super popular one. I'm pretty sure they just work as plug and play devices where as long as you're using a service that has video access, it will like ask you for permission. But I was able to join in with a Zoom call on my Xbox, and then I put the little mount for the camera on top of the television, and then was like video chatting on my big screen TV, which was pretty cool. And it was like Matt had his son come over and like show him the camera stuff because it's basically like kids are like love to see themselves and their family on the big screen, not just on a phone or something like that. But it was interesting. It's like even in I'm not sure if this was Skype's just in Skype or if Zoom could do it too, but like using the Xbox controller, I could actually like zoom in just on a square of my head kind of situation too. So that was pretty fun. So, I mean, I think it's probably more geared towards people, at least who have the game console right now. There's no sort of like web. Actually, you know what? There's no plugs on the back for the Apple TV. But I have seen people calling for like, we should get more webcam type stuff for the TV so that people can not necessarily, I definitely don't want a smart TV with a webcam built in. Like, I want to buy one that goes on the TV and also has a physical shutter that you can close, because that was the one thing.
Yes.
After I set it up, even though nothing was plugged in, my girlfriend was like, I don't want to go in that room right now because it looks like the webcam is just like pointing at all of us and watching.
Yes. So that is, I totally understand that concern. And it's, even as a person who completely understands tech and knows how it works and knows sort of the chances of something being done, I still have that little bit of about things. And so I completely respect that. Go ahead.
Did you see the one tweet of?
Yes. Wait, is it the video
of like an office in a Zoom call, and one girl is.
This is literally
laptop.
What I was about to mention.
Yes, okay,
tell the story. Tell it.
Picks up her laptop, goes into the bathroom, sits down while on camera, and then like the person speaking in the meeting starts cracking up, and it's then like 10 seconds later you see her go, oh my God, reach over, close the camera real quick, and everybody's just like it had to happen, but
it honestly breaks my heart.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm trying to find the link to the video.
There's no personally identifying information, at least. So
just first name.
Okay.
Yeah, her first name was mentioned in it. I can't find the link, and honestly, now that I think about it, I'm okay talking about it, but you can go and search it for yourself if you want to. I feel very bad for that person who was not expecting that was going to be something that she's going to have to deal with. But yeah, so make sure that make sure that your mute is on and your video camera is turned off whenever you're wanting it to be, and make sure 1000%. In fact, earlier today we were doing a chat with one of our upcoming sponsors. Yes, Twit is adding sponsors in this time, which is exciting. And while we were having that conversation, I wanted to take a bite of some food that I was eating. And so I turned on the thing, turned off the video, but I still leaned down and was outside of the frame to take a bite just in case. I just didn't want anyone seeing me. I don't know. There's something like mouth agape, like, oh, this potato salad is really good. So I just kept it off screen as much as I could too. So in that sense, I thank Jennifer for her faux pas because it kept me mindful of things.
Okay, real quick aside also, did you see that, like, I don't think this is happening anymore necessarily, but like a couple weeks ago, there was like TikTokers who are getting super famous because they just leave it on while they're sleeping and people just watch them sleep, and it's weird.
That's
it's like Truman
horrifying.
Show stuff. Yeah, it's like, I think I remember seeing one story like last year where some Twitch streamer did it on accident and it got like really popular because he was just fell asleep while streaming, and then somebody like put it on Reddit and was like, this guy's totally passed out right now. But yeah, it's like a weird teenager thing. So
yeah, and I've seen that in the past. I've seen people do that on different streaming platforms but it was older folks. Yeah,
I mean, not teenagers.
Weird. There you go. Popular Twitch streamer falls asleep on stream to earn $5,500.
Right. They gave him a bunch of money too. That's where you get it.
You know what?
Need to take a nap?
Yeah. You know what?
All right, let's
maybe this week I'm gonna fall asleep on stream and make $5,500. So tune in. Stay posted for my sleepy sick times. Golly, that's creepy. What if I talk in my sleep and I say something horrifying?
Well, that's how you can diagnose it.
True. Oh my God, someone can diagnose me with like sleep apnea or something. I took that test, but who knows? Maybe the diagnostic test wasn't accurate. That's weird, but I might do it. Okay, let's move on to our picks of the week. I'm morbidly curious, I have to say. Matthew, what is your pick of the week? It is a good one. Everyone should get this.
Yes, mine is House Party, which I've been a huge fan of for a while now. I basically couldn't get anyone to actually use it until recently because now it's hugely popular. I think it's actually like number 25 on the top charts, which is, I think for a while it seemed like they might not even stay around or something. But it's basically a group video chat service that works across platforms. And the way it works is that when you sign into the app, it basically notifies your friends that you're available, and then you can kind of casually join in. It's just like, hey, I'm bored. I'm going to go on video chat. And then if people are free, they can jump in. Or if not, just nothing. Like, it doesn't always work out, but it's pretty fun. It's like, I really enjoy it because it's kind of like a no commitment way to video chat with people spontaneously. Whereas it's like, hey, let's like schedule a call for next weekend or something like that is really weird. And this way it's just like, hey, I'm on. And especially when everybody's staying at home, it's just like, I'm bored in the evenings. Who wants to video chat right now kind of thing. You can do stuff like lock the room so other people can't join, or like, I think it's called like sneaking into the house so that you don't notify everybody every time you open the app. That is like slightly a weird part of the situation, but it's actually cool. You can play like Heads Up, which is the super popular like put your phone on your forehead sort of game. You can play
without
that
having to put your phone on your forehead.
Yeah,
Yay.
exactly. But you can play it virtually with people and they can guess and stuff like that. So it's actually like it itself can just be a way to play games together. But I've already talked with like a bunch of random people, and I've seen like 1 or 2 people sign up every single day for the last week, which I almost never saw anyone signing up before.
Yeah.
So it is like it is kind of fascinating to see how embedded video chat stuff will be after all of this ends, basically, because it would be, and like I've always found the idea super fascinating. It's just like not like the no commitment part I think is cool, because you don't have to like message a random friend and be like, hey, would you like to set up a time? It's just like, yo, we happen to be on at the same. It's like, yo. Do you remember Yo? Did you ever use that?
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. I did. I worked. Let me see if that's still out there.
Were you at Imler at the time? Or
I was at Newsy at the time.
I was going to say way before.
Let's see.
I had a coworker that we would yo each other to get each other's attention, and it only worked because we agreed to do it.
Yeah, here's my wow. I'm putting the link I'll put it in the chat, John and Ashley, the Google Sheets chat. This goes way back.
Oh yeah, they have like a API and stuff that you could, so you could send a yo to somebody. Maybe I should make some yo shortcuts.
I was a little baby back in the day.
Wow, you can literally, yeah. Okay, I could actually do that. They have an API. I don't even know if this is still working, but
yeah, that's. I don't think that it is. But anyway, I wrote an article. App that sends yo greeting somehow raises $1 million was the title of the article. And then it's also a video that this was just back in the. I don't know why it's not showing up on the website there. But anyway, I was a little baby. Throwback. Thank you for that. Appreciate that.
It's technically still around, but it hasn't been updated in 3 years.
Oh, I see.
Maybe we'll have to start bringing yo back. I just tried to itch
Stop trying to make yo happen. No, that's fun. House party. I think it's fantastic. I like that there is that sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? The sneak in kind of thing. Cause I want to be able to be there, but not have to immediately have everybody bombard you who's available. So pretty cool. So my pick of the week, it will be the Philips Hue Go white and color lights. So the Philips Hue Go, right now I have it plugged in. It works in both plugged in format and also, oh yeah, there you go. There you go. Unplugged format. And it lets you have lighting of different colors and brightness intensities and things like that. The Philips Hue Go lights are fantastic oh darn it, I changed it away. Are fantastic as mood lighting. They're fantastic as devices that you can sort of carry around with you from place to place, given that they are battery powered. And I have them in my office to serve as sort of direct lighting on my face with my more intense LED panels that provide, bounced lighting off of the walls. And so these just kind of give a more warm glow to keep my skin. But the good thing about them is you can use them as a way to provide sort of sunlight maybe in a place where lighting in a place that maybe doesn't have sunlight without having that harsh overhead light shining down on you. In fact, I want to mention we just had this go out, twit.tv/HOT. We just released a hands-on tech called Work from Home Gadgets or Work from Home Gadget Guide. And in it, I actually mentioned the Philips Hue Go white and color bulbs as one of the things in there. The one thing that I will, yes, the banana is one thing as well. It was this is the thing about this video that I want to talk about is the problem that I think a lot of people are experiencing right now with the advice that's being given is that a lot of times the advice is coming from people who've worked from home for a long time. And so they're sort of veteran work from homers. And that means that you have a unique experience that is not like folks who are just now working from home. And then doubled with that is the fact that, compounded on that is the fact that this is an unprecedented kind of situation where we're not just working from home, we are completely living from home, we are existing from home, we are doing it all. Yeah. And so that means that you can't just say, go buy this thing and go buy this thing, and that is all you need to know about working from home. So in that piece, in that video that I put together, it is less about go buy this, go buy that, and more about here are some things you should think about. So the banana was my way of talking about mental health. It is a stress ball, essentially. And there are many things that you should consider whenever it comes to your mental health. But yeah, these lights are great. I talk about, great for whenever you're doing webcam calls that you want to provide enough light for, but also as a way to have you consider the nature of the light that you're blasting into your retinas and at what time you're blasting that light into your retinas to affect either in a negative or positive way your sleep cycles. So, yeah.
Exactly. Yours, by the way, I was going to say, that's why your lighting looks so good. I got to get mine shine on my face. So I guess I got the blue light, but it doesn't look
See,
too
what
good.
I like about that is it's very dramatic. That looks kind of cool.
Moody. Just like, hello, welcome to Smart Tech Today.
Let me do that too. Let me do one color on one side. Let's see. Peter, you're going to be blue. And Paul, you're going to be purple.
I do have this Eve flare, by the way, which is an even bigger. I can't even hold it in front of me.
Oh my goodness, that is
screen.
Large.
It's like a giant orb thing. It's flat on one side, so you can like hang it and stuff like that. But it's a similar type of lighting product. Keeping in mind what you were saying about like not all this isn't just work from home, but a good tip is just lighting, because I think a lot of people don't have good lights in their house or like in their office space. And I use the Hugo to shine it into the corner, basically where a light strip that I normally have doesn't work anymore. We should take a screenshot of us both with the dramatic blue. Oh wait, I got to do it on the left side so it matches.
Well,
Perfect.
as long as you're doing it, we can get a screen cap after the fact.
Here, yeah, we're doing Zoolander poses for anybody listening. Yes. By the way, this would be a good time to use my show me this clip shortcut if you haven't.
Exactly. Yeah, if you haven't downloaded that shortcut, you absolutely should.
And actually, a good piece of follow-up is that Castro sent me a beta where they're trying to add the same timestamp thing at the end so that Castro users can also use the same type of shortcut. I gotta get a whole universal thing. Maybe I'll be digging into Tasker here soon.
Oh my word, you've got it all, and you've got to teach me everything. Teach me your ways, Matthew Cassinelli. Well, folks, there's plenty more to learn, plenty more to teach, and plenty of other smart tech out there to cover. But we've reached the end of another episode. Of course, you can email us with your questions, your feedback, especially now you're at home. Maybe you're working on your smart home or something like that. stt@twit.tv. You can tune in live to the show. We record it every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 4 p.m. Pacific, which is 2300 UTC. If you head to twit.tv/live, that's going to show you all the different places where we're streaming it live. But of course, don't forget to subscribe to the show. That is how you help us. And there's no better way to help us out here as we are producing these shows during this very trying time than to subscribe to the show. If you head to twit.tv/STT, which stands for Smart Tech Today, click on one of those links at the top. Those are all different ways to subscribe to the show. And yeah, download the podcast and share it with your friends and send in your feedback and topic suggestions, all that jazz. Yep. Matthew Cassinelli, if folks want to follow you online, see the great work that you're doing, how do they do that?
You can visit MatthewCassinelli.com, where I have a collection of Siri shortcuts. And also, I think a lot of people probably haven't seen, I have in the menu bar, there's not only my shortcuts library, but like all of the actions that are in shortcuts and all of the automations too, with a little bit of clarity of how some of that works, because it can still be a little bit confusing. Yeah, MatthewCassinelli.com.
Excellent. And if you want to follow me online, at Mikah Sargent, that's my social media handle on pretty much everything. Or you can head to chihuahua.coffee, chihuahua.coffee. That is a page with links to all the different things that I do or have done. So check that out as well. Alrighty, folks. It's time to say goodnight to your smart assistants.
See you, everyone.